What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's Frankie Davey. As you can see, I'm here in sunny Greece, and I recently put out on my Instagram, Frankie_Davey, for you guys to ask me all questions related to boxing, business, lifestyle, and whatever else. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we do get into the video, I have recently launched mandatory electrolytes. If you do want to grab some, the link is in the description. Let's get into the questions. Okay, first question we have from Adam is, when you fighting next? Unfortunately, as you guys know, I was meant to fight on April 19th, the biggest fight of my career. That did get cancelled. I was very excited for that fight, and I wanted nothing more than to win that. That was possibly for the Southern Area title and definitely for the English title, Eliminator. So that would have been a big step in my career forward. But unfortunately, that got cancelled through no fault of my own. So yeah, we had that. Then I had this holiday booked, and I had the launch of Manetry electrolytes. So we had a few things in the pipeline that just then didn't come hand in hand with boxing and fighting again. So to answer your question, I'm hoping to box again in September. That's the plan. I've been speaking to my management whilst I've been out here actually, and they've said that they've got big plans for me at the end of this year. So I'm hoping for a couple of fights at the end of this year, moving in or towards or to win a title at a bare minimum. Next question. Jake asks, you talked about changing the way you dress. What prompted the change? Where are you getting your clothes and inspiration from? Yeah, it's very interesting you say this. I did mention this in one of my previous videos that I have changed the way I dress. I like to dress now more gentleman-like, more elegant, more classy. Yeah, just the current generation now, I feel like old school is the best school. And when you look back, men wore suits and they wore shirts and they carried themselves with pride. I'm not saying that's 100% due to what they're wearing, but it's a big stepping stone in my opinion. And nowadays we've got young guys wearing tracksuits everywhere they go, big puffer jackets. And whilst I still do wear a tracksuit here and there, I'm an athlete, I'm not wearing a tracksuit to go out to dinner. And I think it's important that you carry yourself correctly. Nowadays, masculine, feminine, it's all being mixed up and confused. I'm very big on the traditional roles of a masculine man and a feminine woman, and I like that. I think old school works. So I feel I should embody that in terms of dressing as a gentleman, acting as a gentleman. Even with girls, with females, I think you should act as a gentleman. Something that is lost in today's world, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why I've changed the way I dress. In regards to what I actually wear, I like, even out here, it's quite fitting, linen shirts. If I'm going out, I like sort of pleated, straight leg trousers, tight fitting tees or shirts. Just keeping the simple things. I don't like to wear a lot of branded clothes now. It's all very simple, just trousers, shirt, plain black, white tees, loafers, just nice
shoes,
as opposed to your Air Max 90s, a Nike Fit tracks. Do you know what I mean? It's just I've gone away from that now, and I think it's for the better. Aside from obviously when I'm in the gym, which is harder, but yeah. Sorrel 1997 asks, how do you train while traveling? Do you still drop in boxing gyms? So I'm currently in Greece now. I actually did look with my missus. I looked where the local boxing gym is, and it is 20 minutes down the road. So I was contemplating hitting that up. However, no, when I'm traveling, I don't really go to boxing gyms. I just like to stay fit through running, cardio and things like that, and lifting weights, shadow boxing, and push-ups. I've been doing a lot of push-ups in my room, at least 100 a day, ab workouts. I think you're on holiday. It's a time to rest somewhat. Even though I've been busy doing work, still been taking calls, still been shadow boxing and everything like that. It's kind of like boxing is my job. I do it every single day. When I'm on holiday, you're allowed to have a week off boxing, 2 weeks off boxing. You need to allow yourself that time. That's something that I've had to learn myself. Your body needs to rest, and it needs to, even mentally as well. If your life is boxing, you'll get sick of it. So you need to just allow that time to recuperate and yeah, just unwind a little bit. I am absolutely sweating here. Brian Fury, will Manetry have more products down the line, such as creatine, protein, etc.? Yes, that is the plan. That's why I actually named it Manetry Performance. That is the business name. And that's because electrolytes were very much the first product that I wanted to bring out. And then it's bottles. These will be coming soon, hopefully by August, September time. New flavors of electrolytes. And then down the line, creatine, yes. Also, it's a performance brand. So it's not just going to be like, say, supplements, protein, vitamins. I want it to be performance. So anything that's related to performance in any single way, that's what I want it to be for the brand. And that's the vision for the brand, a premium, high quality, high performance brand. And that starts very much with the electrolytes being clean, natural, high strength, taste very good as well. So I think that sets a good tone for the brand itself. And then yes, of course, we'll look to expand. At the moment, I'm already thinking of new flavors and new products, but right now we've literally launched less than a week. So don't want to get ahead of myself. Just want to build a solid foundation first and then look to build on that in the future, be it protein and etc. etc. Fanta Boxer, yo, on the Manetry theme, yo, Frankie, does Manetry deliver to US? If not, will you possibly work on it? Yes, so as I said, we only just launched literally last week. We had to turn off US and rest of the world shipping because it was just logistically going to be a nightmare upon launch. I didn't want your first experience of Manetry electrolytes to be you didn't receive your order. So we turned it off. We want to make sure everything's in place. Everyone in the UK and the EU receives their order, is happy with it, loves it. And then we're going to work out the logistics to get it to you guys in the US, Dubai, Asia. South Korea, I had someone message me from South Korea. It's crazy. Australia, mental, absolutely mental. But yes, that's the plan, or Mandatory Performance, or Mandatory itself, to just go worldwide. What is your end goal in pro boxing, and would you ever take an influencer fight? When I first started boxing, I wanted to be a world champion. And I think anyone that starts boxing would possibly agree with me there. You start because you want to be the best that you can be. Quickly, when you come into boxing, you realize there's levels to this. There is levels, and that's not to say I don't believe I can get there, because I do thoroughly believe that. But it's not as simple as you may seem from the start. You're an amateur boxer and you think like, oh, world champion, yeah. I spoke to someone in the gym the other day who was 15, because he was saying to me, oh, I've been stuck at it for 3 weeks and I'm really motivated. And I said, okay, cool. I've been doing this for 10 years. And I wasn't trying to shut him down, by the way. I just said, it's all about stacking the days. Consistency is key. Just keep turning up, keep turning up, keep turning up. And I've done that for 10 years. Back to the question, I said at a bare minimum, I want to win a British title. I would love to be able to say Frankie Davey was a British champion. And then I do believe being a British champion opens up many doors. I've known personally many British champions. Lee Wood himself didn't even believe he could win a British title belt. And then when he won it, he then went on to become a world champion, or two-time world champion, I believe. The sky's the limit at that point. So I know once I win a British belt, I can achieve that goal of being a world champion. So to answer the question about the influencer fight, would I ever take it? The money and opportunity would have to be right. I'm not calling for it. It's not really the route I want to go down. However, money talks, everyone knows that. And if it's someone that's a bit gobby and needs to be shut up, then I'm sure we can make an exception. Apart from cake, what's your go-to cheat meal after a fight? And is it hard to adjust your body when you go back into camp and start eating healthy again? Big fan, bro. Firstly, thank you very much. Secondly, after a fight, my sort of go-to thing, other than the cake post-fight, is the following day, I go out for a meal with my family. So that's whatever's on the menu there, really. I go out for a meal, have a 3-course meal, bottle of red wine, with Big Kev, usually my dad, or my girlfriend. That's kind of like my go-to. I don't really have like a set favorite cheat meal per se, I'll be honest. Is it hard to adjust for your body to go back into camp? Up until probably the last few months, I always stayed very, very close to my fight weight, to the point where it was fairly easy to make. But now I'm noticeably growing as a man. I'm 24, almost 25. I think I'm filling out to like my man structure, my man shape. Sorry, my man strength. Now I am significantly above my fighting weight, to the point where when I go into camp, I will have to actually watch what I eat a little bit more than I ever have before. I never really used to. I could eat whatever I want, whenever I want. And I think now I can do that, but to a lesser degree. I don't really know. I think for my next fight, we'll truly find out how much of a difference it is, because I've got significantly heavier since, as I said, my last 2 fights outside of camp. And I'm still in good shape. So I know it's just muscle and it's just kind of me naturally growing. But yeah, apart from cake, cookie dough, that's more like the sweet stuff. Then the main things like chicken wings, ribs. I'm a big fan of barbecue. I love all food. I honestly love all food. List anything, I'll probably like it, other than mushrooms. Paris Elvis, are you religious at all? Do you believe in God? It's interesting. If you'd have asked younger me, I'd have absolutely said no. I was never ever religious growing up, despite my mum's side of the family being very religious, and my dad is not religious at all. So I think that's probably come from an upbringing of you look up to your dad, you take on his opinions and his views. So I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, but that is probably what it is. I think as I've grown older and become my own man, I do now believe in a higher power, and yeah, I would say I do believe in God. I must admit, I'm not your perfect Christian. I don't go to church. I don't really pray, so to speak. But yeah, I do know there is a higher power. I remember learning A-level physics. I got an A in that at A-level, by the way. And we were taught about the Big Bang. And I was so convinced at the time that that was exactly how the Earth was made. And I thought, yeah, this is it. This makes so much sense. Now, I think that is truly arrogant to think that this was made by some little big bang, or some big bang. I think that's just as if someone hasn't made this. The intricacies, the detail, the perfection, everything, how has that just come out of nowhere? I don't think us as humans always look for an explanation. I think this is beyond that, way beyond that, to the point where we should just accept, right, someone has made this, and that someone may or may not be God. I personally believe it is. I'm not pushing that on anyone, but I personally believe that is the case. And also, so many things that happen in the world, like coincidence. I don't think there's any such thing as a coincidence. That is the big man himself, in my opinion. Yeah, so many of these natural things that happen, and just like, there's no explaining that. There is no explaining that. What's the best way to build stamina in boxing? Some say long road work isn't as effective. I would actually disagree. So I actually really like long road work, and I think it's just old. It's that whole thing I was saying earlier. Old school is the best school. All the greats back then used to do road work, 5 miles, 5 to 7 miles a day, and I think that works. Just when I do longer runs, sort of like 10k, which is 6 miles, 10 to 15k, a couple of times a week, I feel way more fit than if I was to just do like sprints or 5ks 3 to 4 times a week. I think it's important to get your distance in and your road work in, at least 2 longish runs a week. That's what I like to do, and then you can mix in the sprints and the intervals. And then of course you're sparring as well when you're training for a fight. So you're sparring 2 to 3 times a week. Doing your running 3 to 4 times a week, as well as that, as well as your strength and conditioning, as well as your circuits in the boxing gym. That is the best way to get fit. Boxing always comes first in my opinion, so boxing 5 times a week. You're doing your sparring 2 to 3 times a week. You may be doing some heavy bag circuits and whatever. Running should complement that with 1 or 2 long runs a week and your interval sprint sessions. Frank Warren, obviously that's not the real one. How do you deal with heartbreak as a man? Very interesting question. I think personally heartbreak as a man can make or break you, especially at a young age. To deal with it, you've got to put your soul, focus, energy and attention into something, be it a sport, be it a business, whatever that may be. You've got to channel. Anger is a very powerful emotion. Anger, upset, all of those emotions you're feeling, you've got to channel that into something. A lot of people, I think that's where a lot of people get into the gym and lifting weights. They might have broke up with their girlfriend, they're a bit fat, they're a bit out of shape, and they go, right, boom, I'm gonna go to the gym and get in insane shape. And I think that is the sole reason. That's a very good, it's an escape. So I would say that the number one thing to deal with heartbreak as a man, firstly, block them on everything. You don't wanna look at what she's doing. Who cares about her? Block them on everything. Then focus on you. Put the time and attention into yourself. You'll soon find that they'll be looking at what you're doing and how much better you're doing in months or even years to come. It may take years, but you will eventually get that satisfaction of, right, I've now become the man that she wishes she could have, but she can't. Where did you find inspiration to start your business endeavors, or alternatively, did you feel like you just fell into it? Thanks. I think I've always been very business minded, to the point where I remember in primary school, there was things called Club Penguin cards. And I remember there was people in my year, I think it was year 4, maybe even year 3, year 2, 3 or 4, whatever that is, so like 7. I never bought a single pack of them cards, but I remember someone gave me some. So I said to my friend, his name was Scott, I don't remember exactly what I said, obviously, it was years ago, but I remember I said along the lines of, I'm gonna flip these and get more. So I had someone gave me 2 Club Penguin cards, and I was like, so we were all trading them. So I'd get 2, and I'm like, oh, I'll give you this one for 2 of your ones. And I remember within like a few weeks, I had a stack this big. And that is the core principles of business. You've got a product, you sell it, and you get more in return. So that was, I think, instilled in me very young. And then from that age, I've always ran, well, not from year 2, but I've always had businesses. I've ran social media pages to millions of followers. I've done countless things, a lot of online, but countless things to make money. So I think that's always been installed in me. My dad himself has never really, as far as I'm aware, has never worked for anyone. And he always told me as a young kid, he never would like a boss. He doesn't want someone telling him what to do. And I'm very much the same. I don't like people telling me what to do. And that's not an arrogant way. I just couldn't imagine myself clocking in to say, and someone saying, yeah, you go do that, you go do that. I'd be like, well, hold on a minute. It's just not me. And I must stress, it's not from an arrogant thing. I know a lot of people do that. And I truly believe everyone is different. So some people are fine with that, and they're happy with that. They go to their job in the morning, they finish in the evening, they don't have to think about it. They come home, they have dinner, and they have their holiday, and actually it is a nice life, considering I'm on my phone 24/7, but I chose that. So when all these people kind of hate on the 9 to 5, I'm not one of those people, because actually I'm constantly working. Sometimes you kind of think, oh, well, that would have been a much easier route. But yeah, so inspiration for the business endeavors of, say, Manetry was more so I just wanted something to put my name to. Being someone on social media, I'm a professional boxer, but also have a social media platform to some extent, where you guys watch my content or whatever. You do get brands contact you. And then the more they contact you, you kind of do brand deals for these guys, brand deals for these guys. And I try and only do things that I truly believe in anyway, so I wouldn't be promoting random rubbish. However, I just thought, why not promote my product? Imagine how much energy and like passion I would have to promote my product to you guys on my platform. It just makes perfect sense to me, rather than promoting this company, promoting this company. It's not authentic, it's not real. This is real. I've made this and I have a passion for it. So I think I can drive that across to you for you to purchase and for you to try Manetry electrolytes or the bottles or whatever that may be. I just think I wanted something to call my own and to put my time and energy in and just watch it grow. I want to scale it. I want to scale it to like 50, 100,000 pounds a month. That is the plan. So I think that's where the inspiration comes from, and I just always liked having new projects and things to work on. When I've achieved that, I would like to go and do something else. I'd like to get into property. I've always wanted to get into property. I think that's a very good market to be in. However, I think this is more enjoyable. So property is something more longer term. Toby, buy your Manetry eggs. What does a usual full day of eating look like for you? Yeah, so you got the Manetry eggs, sourdough, coffee, electrolytes. Do you know what? I was actually thinking this the other day. I don't eat that much. I think I just eat a lot of sourdough, eggs, and then it's dinner. Whatever dinner is. Currently it's like, say if I'm at my missus' house, it's whatever she makes me, and I'll have a dessert in the evening. If I'm not at my missus' house, I probably won't have dessert. I pretty much have 2 meals a day. So it's the sourdough and eggs with salted butter, espresso, some electrolytes. I have bananas every day. I have probably 2 bananas every day. I occasionally have a yogurt granola bowl or a yogurt fruit bowl. That's something that, especially in the summer, I like that with some raw honey on. And then evening is just sort of meat. Could be chicken thighs with roasted vegetables, maybe some rice, steak. That sounds really healthy. It's not. Obviously, it's cooked up, different spices, different flavors, different countries, cuisines. But that's pretty much it. And then I'm not a robot either. If there's like some biscuits in the cupboard, I'm gonna probably have one. I quite like those amaretto biscuits with coffee. I've been into those. There's normally cake involved. I know people think it's a joke, but I do love cake. Actually, if I'm not at my missus' house, she's probably made me some and left some at my house, or my mum has made me some. My little sister has made me some. It's normally something sweet in and around the house that I probably do have every day, every other day. Then it's a sourdough, eggs, espresso, butter, a couple of bananas, bit of fruit, and dinner. That's basically it. Okay, and final question. If you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? I think it would be, just keep going. Just keep going. I'm quite big on, I don't regret anything. Because if one thing in my life changed, I wouldn't be where I am now. The whole butterfly effect and everything. The reason I am where I am today is because of all of the series of events that's happened in my life for the 24 and a half years that I've been alive. The fact I'm sat here right now in 40-degree heat, absolutely sweating my nuts off in a nice linen shirt with my Manetry glass bottle, my girlfriend opposite me, I don't think there's much I would change. So I wouldn't want to tell my younger self anything different, so to speak. I'll just simply say, keep going, keep working hard, it will all come, it will all come. And we're now there sooner than ever. So yeah. All right, thank you very much for watching. That has been a little Q&A whilst I'm here in Greece. If you do want to get some Manetry electrolytes, the link is in the description. Follow me on all of my socials, Frankie_Davey, and I'll see you in the next video. Is it bad? Oh no. I've got to go to dinner now. It's I'll just go put a different t-shirt on. All right, we'll go back.